Josique. And I'm Seth. And you're tuned into the Free Game Podcast.
What's going on, FGP members? Y'all see it. We switched up the location. We added 3 new faces. So I'm going to run through everybody real quick so everybody knows what's going on. On the left over here, we got my guy, JC, Mr. Law School. Played 3 years of college basketball at App State and UNCG. Right here we got, I'm gonna let Josique introduce himself.
I mean, I'm Josique. Y'all already know who I am, bro. We ain't gotta go through me. We gotta talk about the guests, man. Y'all know who I am. Y'all see me every week, man.
Obviously, I'm your co-host, Seth. On my right, we got Fosa, Mr. 1,000 points. He played 4 years of college basketball at Roanoke College.
Yes, sir. Shout out Noke.
Shout out to the Noke.
In the middle of nowhere, but hey.
Same in Virginia.
Sure. All you can do is hoop, though.
All you can do is hoop, man.
Hey, they got Del Curry Camp up there.
They do got Del Curry Camp. Great gym. Great scenery up there. Y'all go check it out.
Check out Roanoke. I heard it's like one of the most beautiful D3 college campuses.
Oh, for sure, without a doubt. And then we also got this big star. The gym is crazy. Gym is OD. Probably the best you're gonna find at D3.
Bro. I tell you, bro. I gym at Coker.
Better than a lot of D2s, some D1s. I'll just say about the gym.
Very nice school, though.
Yo,
and then, last but not least, on the far right, we got Mr. Q himself, Wayne Dixie. He played 5 years? 5 years of football?
Yeah, 5 years.
2 at Butler, 3 at Elon? Or was it 3 and 2?
Nah, it was 2 at Butler, 3 at Elon.
2 at Butler, 3 at Elon, running back. Some crazy runs throughout his day, bro. I'm talking about trucking people, juking people, whatever y'all need. Wayne got you.
How many states you win at Weddington?
2 state championships.
Back to back, right?
I won one my sophomore year with my senior year.
Word.
Shared the backfield with Will Shipley, Clemson fellow, Clemson Tiger, man. So
that's my guy.
Legend for sure. Legend for sure. But
how y'all doing? How was y'all's Christmas and everything?
It was good, man. Good to see the family, hang out. Great sports on Christmas.
Yeah,
a lot of great sports,
bro. A lot of great games.
Like 8 games on, like 5 NBA.
Yeah, I know.
3 NFL.
Yeah. And that's just how, that's how it was because of like the scheduling. Christmas was on Monday.
Last year too.
Yeah,
the same way.
Yeah,
this was on like a Sunday or something last year. Yeah.
Man, it gave us a lot of time to have some good action. You know, get to watch some good games all day.
What was y'all's favorite memory from yesterday in terms of the games? Whatever was happening. I already know JC's going with Luka, bro. There's no way he does it.
Yeah, I love watching Luka play the Suns.
There's no way he does it.
The Suns, he
went
a great performance.
He went fed.
Y'all see what he did.
He owns them.
For me personally, it was, bro. It's got to be Brunson, man.
Brunson.
I
thought you was a big Giannis guy.
I am, but like just what he was doing.
Behind the arc. Brunson was just moved. The blow by and the scoop and score.
I was watching. He was getting tough bucks like every time. It was a loud 38.
They got the dub. Finally beat the Bucks. That was the first time.
They was at home too, weren't they?
I think they were like the past 9 games the Bucks had won or something like that.
Seriously?
Something crazy. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
That's wild. What was your favorite game?
Probably, I gotta give the Raiders games Amir White.
Did y'all see the that clip? I can't remember what defender it was, but it was after I think the fumble or the pick where he like ran to the kid and like threw the ball to him. Disrespectful.
But I saw a lot of there's a lot of talk around that. But I was thinking like that's we need. Hate in the fan
We do. Bro, that is character development. If I was 6, 7 years old and Drew Brees or somebody scored a touchdown and faked the ball to me, bro, I'm hating that team and that player for the rest of my life. Rest of my life.
Generational hatred.
That was already a rivalry too.
Exactly.
Like Max Crosby and
Mahomes. Yeah. So the Raiders and Chiefs do not like each other.
No,
to say the least. Man, but
who you got?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm impressed most by the Ravens, bro. They looked strong last night. I did not expect that. I mean, Brock threw the game away, don't get me wrong, but the Ravens defense was looking crazy, bro. They was flying all over the field. Kyle Hamilton had 2 picks.
Kyle Hamilton is a dog.
Patrick Queen and Roquan was stuffing the run game a little bit. Like McCaffrey, I mean, he had a touchdown still, but he wasn't he didn't have a big game like he did the rest of the year. So, man,
he still had a good game, though.
No, he had a good game. I think he had
but when it comes down to it, really, Purdy threw the game over.
Yeah,
4 picks. 4
easily.
picks is crazy.
I mean,
4 picks from him, then another one from Darnold, right?
He threw a touchdown. Darnold threw a touchdown.
He threw a touchdown on his first drive, and he came back. Bro, I thought they were gonna score. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, ooh.
I thought it was gonna be a closer game.
Yeah. He threw that ball pick. I was like, dang.
The game was cut off for me at that point.
Too much cheese on
we were going to the Maverick Suns game. Next game.
All I know is whoever had the Ravens defense in fantasy was geeked.
Well,
At least if
they
they in the playoffs. If they in the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
They had like 4 takeaways.
5.
5 takeaways?
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely.
Crazy. But who was your best game yesterday?
I definitely gotta go with the Ravens game. I mean, anytime I get to see Lamar Jackson dominate, he's about to win his 2nd MVP, so
Lamar
gotta go with the
was-
Ravens game.
He's got business to handle.
He does.
Yeah,
They gotta beat the
he
Dolphins.
does.
Handle next week.
They gotta beat the
Dolphins, right?
Dolphins, but they should handle
Dolphins
that.
are home
At the
next
crib,
week.
they should handle
If they
that.
just beat the 49ers in San Fran, I'm pretty confident about the Ravens.
I'm taking the Ravens.
They look
bro.
up and down
The
though.
NFL
They
works like that,
Yeah.
though. So week to week.
They had that
Yeah.
shaky game with the Rams at home.
True, but I guess looking back at it, remember last year they was up like 21 on the Dolphins in like the second half and they blew it. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. They gotta get back.
They
A lot
have
of those
to.
games are about matchups, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there's a team that could be worse or just as good or whatever it might be, and it's all about matchups. It could be any given day.
Facts.
Nah, for sure.
It's gonna be a great two weeks of the year. Last 2 weeks of the year for sure.
That's the good thing about the Ravens, though. Like, I don't see any weaknesses on their defense, at least. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they have every position filled out. Even their questionable positions are still pretty good players.
And
Yeah.
like I feel like in the past couple years of the Ravens, it's just been health issues. Like Marlon was hurt last year,
Yeah.
and the year before. I think like towards the end of the year, they just had like DBs hurt all the time. The running backs always getting hurt the past
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah,
And
Even
James
got one still ended up
This
getting
year,
hurt.
this
Yeah,
year,
exactly.
Mitchell towards ACL. I think.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
You
Didn't
had
Dobbins get hurt again this year?
Dobbins got
Towards
hurt
Achilles.
at the start of the year.
Mark Andrews.
But you got to
Yeah,
think
Mark
Mark
Andrews.
Andrews. But even throughout all that, like they're still winning. They got the best record in the NFL, and they have Lamar Jackson. I think that's the all deciding factor.
Man, if he was the second MVP, I don't hear nothing about any type of.
He still got to win, bro.
Yeah, they still got to win. It's 2
still
weeks
gotta
left.
win.
I think that Dolphins game is going to be tricky.
Yeah, for
They have
sure.
the ultimate X factor in Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle gets back healthy. You got Jalen Ramsey on the side. I mean,
It's gonna be a
Good
good
on
game.
that Dolphins
It's gonna be
game.
tough.
That's going to be a
I mean,
good game for
Whoever
sure.
really wins that is probably going to come out with the MVP between Tua and Lamar.
Lamar, yeah,
Who do you
right.
guys see win the MVP this year? Is it one of those two guys? You guys have someone else?
Well, Brock Purdy just shot himself in the foot.
Yeah, Brock
yesterday.
Purdy-
Like,
Brock Purdy's
Kansas,
out of it.
he went
What the
down.
odds do, JC? They went
they
from
went
what?
from minus 225 pregame to plus 105 at halftime to plus 1900 after the game.
That's
Bro,
crazy.
like,
That's
come on,
crazy.
bro.
That's got
That's
to be the most
crazy.
drastic change
Come on.
Ever. In one
in
game?
60
minutes.
In one game.
Not even
60
60.
minutes
He
of
got,
gameplay.
well, he got hurt.
Yeah,
Man,
damn, bro.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. I mean, before this, I'm not gonna lie. Like, no quarterback has really like ran away with MVP. Like, you know, every year it's like some
Dak was
quarterback that's
looking
like,
great, so
Yeah.
he fumbled the bag, not running
Really,
the
the
QB
past 2
sneak.
weeks, it wasn't even that. Like Dak fell off last week when they lost to the Bills. Like, not that it was his fault they lost to the Bills, but just the fact that they lost, like his odds dropped. But like
Definitely.
him, Brock, Tua, like they all having a good year, but nobody's like, yeah, that's the
I
MVP.
think
Yeah.
Jared Goff is a dark horse, though.
Seriously, he's been
He
looking
like third in the
iffy,
league.
bro.
Yeah.
He third in the
He's
He's
league.
been looking iffy the last few weeks.
It's
So.
just-
It is, but I'm saying he's still in the third, and the conference. I mean, the Lions just won their first conference title since
division title, yeah.
however long, 30 years,
30
something
years like that.
So it's like
It's no way I can give an MVP to somebody that lost to the Bears in the season.
They got to
bro.
go to Dallas this week too.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough.
They
Dallas
might
at
get
home.
belted.
Dallas got a
but
lot to prove.
They might
Dallas-
get belted.
Dallas
At
is
home,
about
and
to-
they're back at home.
they got
bro,
something
They might
to
get
do for sure.
stupid. I mean, if anything, bro, this should be the year that the first year that a quarterback does win MVP, in my opinion. Unless Lamar wins
Who
his
you got?
last 2 games.
CMC then or Tyreek?
I mean, I thought Tyreek had it before he got hurt, and then Jalen Waddle had like almost 200 yards. Was it last week or something like that?
It's
I
a
thought Tyreek
system.
had it.
It's not Tyreek. It's a system.
Boom.
Nah,
Tyreek, Super Bowl
man.
winner. I'm not hearing it.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I think it's Lamar Jackson right now. But there's still
That's
2
where I'm
weeks left. There's 2 weeks left in the season. And when you think about it, Christian McCaffrey, he had a good game yesterday.
He did. He had a
Like
good game.
they lost. Like their team was getting dogged, and Christian McCaffrey still he had like over like almost 90 rushing yards. They had a touchdown.
yeah, he had
was
over
catching
100 all-purpose
passes.
yards again.
Yeah, so like even with his team going through that, he's still doing his thing. So I feel like if they bounce back for the next 2 weeks, start like putting up numbers again, and Christian McCaffrey's still doing his thing, it'll really be those two.
Yeah, to that point, like I feel like if you look at Christian McCaffrey's overall body of work this season, like consistently having over 100 all-purpose yards,
Crazy,
consistently being an X factor for his team, like pushing them forward, winning some games for them.
Playing
honestly.
every game, too.
Playing
Like,
every
every game.
Bro,
Consistency.
didn't he have like
Yeah.
17 straight games? Like dating back to last season, he had like 17 straight games with a touchdown.
He
Yeah.
was,
like,
he was on a streak this year too.
Yeah.
Before one game he didn't have
one
a
game
touchdown.
he didn't score a touchdown. He still had over 100 yards or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like Yeah, I think he's been the most consistent.
I would love to see CMC win MVP, but I don't think they're going to give it to him. But
Who you got there? Who's your favorite for MVP?
I think if I had to say it, it would be Lamar, but I just say watch out for Tua. I just think that
it's a dangerous game.
They just beat the Dolphins. Right?
Yeah.
Well, not the Dolphins. They beat the Cowboys.
Tua gets 2 opportunities back-to-back weeks to play against
Big
Baltimore
team,
and then Buffalo. 2 MVP moment type games, and if he gets those 2 wins, goes Dallas, Baltimore, Buffalo.
You got it.
You got to give it to him.
I got to give it to Tua.
So he's still putting up numbers, man.
Because like I said, I don't know who they played without Tyreek, but still, he was putting up numbers without Tyreek.
The Jets.
I mean, Jets defense is still good.
That's a great defense.
So, I like
a great defense. Staying with the NFL though. I want to ask you guys, is the NFC East still legit after the Cowboys back-to-back losses? The Eagles been struggling the last few weeks. Are they still legit Super Bowl contending division?
I'm gonna let y'all answer that first.
I just think so. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts has kind of fallen off to me. I mean, just watching the Eagles play,
Mr. Tush Push.
it's hard not to see how they've taken a step back. And you got beef between A.J. Brown and Sirianni. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes?
A lot of people don't like Sirianni. Like, a lot of the players end up having beef with him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
he
know what
comes off
he is.
as a little arrogant.
I mean, like, the drill he had Jalen Hurts doing,
That's
it's like,
crazy,
come on,
man.
bro.
That's
He
crazy.
seems arrogant to me.
That's a wild
Did
drill,
y'all
man.
see? I don't know if y'all noticed, but like towards the end of the game yesterday, him and Devontae Smith was low key like arguing.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all noticed that. I don't know if
And
it was.
A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Bro,
like,
Devontae Smith was
yeah.
like, he verbally was angry after the game.
That's what I'm saying. But like, they weren't even on offense.
They
I don't
weren't even
know
on
what they, like,
offense, bro.
I don't know what the
A.J.
problem
Brown, after the game, they were trying to interview him. He said he has nothing nice to say. He just
Didn't even
denied
want to
the
talk.
interview.
Yeah. That's crazy, bro.
It's not a good sign in Philadelphia.
And A.J. Brown usually is like well-mannered guy. Doesn't usually come off as someone that's like pissed off about something.
But like they've been having like issues even dating back to early in the year. Remember AJ Brown was like complaining that he wasn't getting the ball enough.
And then
and
Devontae was
now-
complaining.
Then Devontae. I just think, so me, when it comes down for the Eagles, you can look at that game two ways, my bad. Like, they could bounce back from it and be like, all right, we're still mad. Like, we bounced back. We're on a 3-game losing streak, but we bounced back. We're still mad because we're not at to where we want to be. But then it could also be like, you guys just won a game. If you can't take anything good from that and, like, move on from it, I don't know where you're going to go with the season, because the season's ups and downs.
It's
like,
a lot of frustration with them right now, though. They lost 3 weeks in a row, then almost lost to the Giants. Like, it's just some pissed off people in that locker room.
And even when they
sure.
were winning, it was ugly.
Yeah.
They were winning
Close
off other
games.
people's mistakes.
Yeah.
Against the Chiefs, they went off their mistakes. Against the Bills, they went off the Bills' mistakes. I mean, they're still winning games. They're finding ways to win. That's what you want to do. But down the stretch, you want to be looking good. And
they don't look
you
like
start
it.
10-1, and
They
now
don't
you're
look like
what?
it. Josique had a good point. He called them this year's Vikings. Kind of how the Vikings last year had like 8 wins, I think, in one-score games. The Eagles are the same way. Like, right there at the end of the game, it could go either way. So
Right, and to JC's point too, like this is supposed to be the time where you're catching your stride. This is supposed to be the time. If you're that good and you went that long, you're getting by the skin of your teeth. Like sometimes you gotta have gritty games. But like this is the point where if you trying to go into the playoffs and be dominant, you
especially
gotta be
against the
catching your
Giants,
stride
like
right
a team like the Giants.
The Giants, you're
something
supposed to dog them, bro.
Yeah.
They got Tommy Cutlets.
Didn't they bench Tommy?
But like, no, he's a great.
Didn't they bench him? Yeah,
they
for
benched
Tyrod
him.
Taylor.
For Tyrod Taylor.
And Tyrod Taylor almost went out there and won the game.
Yes, bro. Like, you guys should. Those are teams you should, like. Who said it? Someone was like, those are teams you're supposed to like take as another practice, another scrimmage, to get that stride back for the playoffs. I mean, you're not supposed to look past any team, but like you're supposed to come in. You're at
Handle
home.
business,
Do what you're supposed to do so you can move on and like get better with all the things, the little things you got to tweak, whether that's like personalities or those little things. But you're supposed to come in and just handle business, and then throughout the week, then you deal with all those stuff.
Right. I'm gonna ask y'all a question. With that being said, like, do you think that maybe that was the issue? Like, they're like, they playing some of these teams like, oh, this is just another practice, and then they get in the game and they're like, oh, well, we should have taken
the
it
competition
more seriously, and then they trying to squeeze it out towards the end.
Honestly, bro, I feel like for the Eagles, I think they just not who they were last year. Like, if you look at like some of their games against like the Commanders this year, the Commanders are not good, and they struggled against the Commanders this year, both games.
Yeah.
Like they let up, like the defense let up like 30 points to a Sam Howell quarterback who just had like -1 fantasy points this week.
Yeah, that was
Like,
wild.
Yeah,
I
the secondary for them just take a big step back this year.
Huge.
That's the issue this year.
Secondary and Jalen Hurts is taking a step back too.
Jalen Hurts ass.
He's taking a step back too.
Their defense is definitely less disciplined, way less disciplined than it was.
I think that might be because of the age.
They
too.
lost
they got
Gardner Johnson.
They
to
lost
the Lions.
CJ. Yeah,
that was a big loss. Bradbury hasn't looked the same.
They had
Slade's been hurt.
starting.
Who they have in the back? Blankenship.
Yeah,
but he's like a vet. Like he's been there. And he's over here taking when they had the touchdown yesterday. He's taking the wrong angle at the guy and stuff like that. Stuff you can't do.
Yeah.
So it's just like
I don't know what's wrong with them. I would be surprised if they lost in the first round of the playoffs. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna be surprised.
Like
the
Rams
supposed
to be.
I don't know who it's supposed to be. If they win a division, I can see them facing like the Rams or like I don't know who the 6 is. Maybe like the Vikings or something like that. If it's the Rams, the Rams might get them, bro.
Rams look good.
I like the Rams.
I love the Rams. I like the Rams.
Stafford, Aaron Donald, Cup, Nakua. I mean,
it's a solid team all around.
Solid
team all around.
But to what you were said first thing you were asking about the conferences, weren't you?
Yeah.
But I was gonna say the AFC North, like they're good too. Like the
AFC
Browns is 10-5, the
Yeah.
Steelers are 8-7, the Bengals are 8-7, and the Ravens are 12-3.
The Browns have played 3 quarterbacks this year and are 10-5.
10-5, bro.
Exactly.
Joe Flacco.
Find a way to win. Okay, the Joe Flacco got a Super Bowl.
He got a Super Bowl. I mean, he's a winning quarterback around a insane team. Like they have an insane defense. I mean, they have Amari Cooper and Njoku. I mean, they got weapons around them. Unfortunately, if they would have had Chubb too, bro, that would have been absurd.
They still got 2 really good running backs.
2 really good running backs still, and they're winning games. Like you can't fault them for
I think
that.
people are sleeping on the Browns.
They sleep.
And I think that's just like obviously Deshaun Watson is a great quarterback. We know that he might probably, as an overall player, better than Joe Flacco. But like one thing you can't take away from Joe Flacco, and I think it's gonna help him win games, is the experience. Like he's been in the Super Bowl, he's been through the playoffs, he's been in tough games. Like he was over here playing against Ed Reed and them boys.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
I see the post
every day in practice.
I see the post like Sunday. Some of those like Joe Flacco's throwing balls against Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. He's not scared about whoever else you got back there.
For real.
Right. He's not a Hall of Famer.
Right.
But
Last question with the NFL though. Who are your guys' Super Bowl favorites? Who you guys have win the Super Bowl if you had to pick someone today?
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Despite what happened last night, I still got the Niners. Just because, like,
Purdy's injury didn't look too serious.
I don't know. I mean, he came back. They said he was ready to go back into the game, but like, there was no. He had 4 picks.
Yeah, there was no
point putting him back in the game. But like, again, kudos to the Ravens. Great win. But I feel like the Niners beat themselves, and they still lost by like 14.
Definitely.
So I mean, I think it's gonna be a rematch in the Super Bowl. In my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the Niners got it, but we all got it.
Yeah, I'm sticking with the Niners. I think that a loss like that late in the season, after you've been looking so good, it's a wake up call. I think they're going to find their stride. They're going to be at home throughout the playoffs, go to the Super Bowl in Vegas, and I just think they're going to get it done.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What about y'all? Who y'all got?
You want to go, bro?
I think
go ahead, man.
I think probably the Dolphins, just with having Tyreek back. They got him and Jalen Waddle, and like I don't see them having those same issues as far as who needs to get the ball. Then they got running backs that can run the ball. They got a good secondary. They got decent linebackers. Like I think they are starting to hit a stride at this point, especially with Tyreek coming back. So I think that they could definitely be a front runner.
They're dangerous for sure.
Yeah.
Dangerous for sure. I mean, my initial thought, like really all throughout like the last month and a half, has been 49ers. But I mean that loss, I feel like it would affect anybody. I mean, they got dogged, man. Like
That was embarrassing.
National television game. They were how much of favorites? But they were like
6.5.
6.5 point favorites, man. And they got dogged in like every facet of the game. So I feel like that affect them. I still think they have a good chance, but like what Wayne was saying, I'd probably go Dolphins, man. What's their coach's name?
Mike
McDaniels, Mo. He's like a genius, bro. Did you see that Hard Knocks clip?
Bro, he's smart. I've been watching all the Hard Knocks.
Bro,
He's smart.
He's smart. He called his own one-play touchdown. That's something you do in Madden, bro.
Nah, for real.
That's like Madden.
He called it before the offense even walked onto
That's
the
what I'm
field,
saying, bro.
He was like, "Check one touchdown here." Like,
Yeah, and
what?
And to that, they got the weapons. They got a good defense. So
Nah, definitely.
yeah, I'd go Dolphins.
I think all y'all got good choices. I'm gonna go with a little bit of underdog here. I like the Bills to win it, honestly. I feel like they win out the next 2 weeks. I think the Dolphins lose the next 2 weeks, so the Bills take that home field advantage back.
You got the Bills
Josh.
sweeping the Dolphins?
I do.
Sheesh.
So you got the Ravens beating up on the Dolphins.
Ravens beating the Dolphins and Dolphins losing a game.
So if that's the case, won't the Bills win the division then? If they
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They'll win the division and get the home field advantage back.
They'll just have to go to Baltimore.
That's
Still.
fine. That's fine. I like Josh Allen over Lamar in that one.
It's gonna be tough. I think
good.
it's
That would be a
wide open
great
as it's
matchup.
been. So.
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
definitely.
I definitely like that fact about it.
And interesting too is Patrick Mahomes will play his first road playoff game.
Instead of Super Bowl,
never-
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He's never played a road playoff game.
That's crazy.
Man, all I'm
That's
saying
a crazy stat right
do
there.
not let Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs go on the road to the Super Bowl. I don't care if they win the Super Bowl. If they go to the Super Bowl with this team on the road, Mahomes got it.
Special stuff, bro.
Got it.
Special stuff for sure. Slide into the NBA real quick. I don't know if y'all saw this. LeBron basically said after the game he didn't really feel like playing yesterday, but he just did it because like he had to uphold the image of the NBA. How do you guys feel about like the NBA players starting to like sit out, not play as much, basically just cupcake through the season, really?
I think the NBA players, they need to show a little bit more grit and pride in their jobs. I mean, y'all are getting paid millions of dollars to play basketball. Every kid, we're hoopers.
Yeah.
We would dream of playing on Christmas Day.
Love it.
And
love it.
I mean, he's been there so many years to the point where it's just another game for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he needs to recognize the moment he's in and just appreciate where he is and how many people want to watch him play.
Yeah.
That's another thing, like how you seeing like people coming to watch them
Yeah.
play. Like, you know how many kids was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to a Lakers game on Christmas, and then they get there, LeBron's not playing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
bro, and they be sick, or like AD or Tatum or anybody. Like, I mean, I get the whole load management thing as far as like trying to stay healthy to get to the playoffs and everything. But I mean, we saw how hard defense was back in the day and how dudes were getting smacked around, still playing 75, 80, 82 games. So, I mean, I think they just need to toughen up a little bit.
Even bigger than like just LeBron though, you had Embiid out for the Sixers, Jimmy Butler was out for the Heat. Like those are two biggest stars in that game not playing. So.
Yeah. I mean, again, you never know if it's like a legit injury and they're trying to like be preventative rather than like have the injury happen and then have to take care of it.
Right.
Even still, to that point, with all the technology there is today, like.
About to say, this is a doctor right here. Go tap in with
Hopefully,
folks and he can let you know if you can play.
None of that.
We got to speak
Aspiring.
He gonna be a doctor in a few years.
That's the plan, man. Hopefully, but like there was some that came out. LeBron spends like over $1 million on his body alone. Like all these players are getting paid so much. There's all these new technologies, cryotherapy. We used to do cryotherapy in high school. Like
Cryo get you right, bro.
get you right. I mean, I get like it's a long season, but I feel like with all the technology there is today, like. If you're getting paid that much money, just play. I mean,
they be spending $1 million on jewelry and cars, bro. Like, take care of yourself.
Like, take care of your body. Like, there's so many people. Like, you're getting paid this much for a reason. Like, people want to see you play against other players, like their best players, and so.
But that's what I'm saying. Even if it's like a 80% LeBron, I'd rather see him out there than Cam Reddish and Torian Prince.
Yes,
like,
bro. Like,
I don't care, bro. Like I want to see LeBron, not Torian Prince and Cam Reddish.
That's a good point.
I think some of these guys like lose what basketball gave them. You know what I'm saying? Like they use basketball as an outlet, as an avenue to get where they wanted to be, and you know. So, but then it's like they get to that point, and then it's like, okay, well, I made it.
No,
Definitely.
I got I'm getting paid.
There's no drive to like keep going or like do
Especially after signing the contract, bro. Like those are the worst years.
Right.
Like
And
the
then-
first year after the contract.
And it's not like, obviously it's still competitive, but I just feel like there's no like, they come out and it's like, I gotta beat this team, I gotta beat this player, I gotta show that I'm dominant. You know, it's
They're
kind
okay
of like,
with
it's like
losing
okay,
any
I
game,
can
really.
drop. Like what Jason Tatum said the other day when my man's dropped like 15 points. He's like, oh, we young. You just don't feel like playing that night. You don't. What are we doing?
and especially like the bigger games, like Christmas.
You gotta play them.
Exactly.
But if you healthy, bro,
Come
just
on,
get out there and
man.
suit up.
And
Like
because-
last year's MVP didn't play this year's Christmas. That's bad. For
Especially
them.
speaking about in the Heat was just the 8 seed and made it to the NBA Finals. You telling me as an MVP you don't want to go in there and prove that they not beating you this year? Like,
and the whole point of that matchup was for Jimmy Butler to go back and play the Sixers. Like, for being real. So taking those two out the game just completely ruined the point of that game.
But is that their decision or is it like a team decision? I don't know. Like,
I mean,
what goes
the
in
players
there.
always have the final say. Like, unless the doctor's like, nah, it's torn, you can't play. The players always have the final say.
Yeah.
So like any like knick-knack injury, it's always down to the players.
Because what were they out for?
Embiid had like a sore knee, and then I'm not sure what. Jimmy Butler's been out for like a week or two. So
Okay.
He's been out for a little minute.
Sore knee is crazy, man.
Yeah.
And he is a 7-footer, so I don't have that body.
he probably do got bad worse things than me.
That's crazy to me.
Get into what y'all came here for. College football is here. College football playoffs are here. Told you guys we're gonna get back to talking about Florida State getting snubbed and a little bit what went on a few weeks ago. So before we start, I want to ask each of you guys, what 4 teams you think should have made the college football playoff? We'll start over here with Wayne and make our way around. What 4 teams should have made the playoff?
Any order or like ordered it?
No,
Like,
yeah, give me 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah, put it in order. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Definitely 1 being Michigan. I'm a
Okay.
Michigan fan, so I'm biased.
All right.
So I'm always going
But I
to
mean,
say
I ain't mad at it though. They was number 2.
Definitely Washington number 2, Texas number 3. I feel that they deserve that spot, but having Florida State out of that, this the first team that's went undefeated that hasn't been in the college football playoff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And everything that they worked so hard for, like we all worked hard. We all played sports. We've all done whatever. And like just to have that stripped from you, and you want to play. Everybody wants to play in a championship game or have a chance to play for a ring. So
Yeah.
Especially
That's
after
why I
going
thought.
undefeated. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Me, I think it's pretty obvious. Like, I'll stand with what Wayne said. Florida State should have been that 4th team, and then it should have been Michigan 1, Washington 2, Texas 3. But I'm playing devil's advocate. Nobody wanted to see Florida State in the championship, and I'm sorry,
In the
Jay.
playoffs?
In the playoffs, man. I'm sorry, Jay. If I'm being devil's advocate, it's all about like ratings, man, and like
But
they
it's-
what?
Yeah, nah.
Yes.
It's
I'll let
all
you get
about
your four.
ratings.
I'll let
It's
you get
all
your
about
four.
ratings, and like they what that their ACC championship game against Louisville, they put up like 16 in the first half. I think they put up like 3 points or something like that.
Yeah, it was a close game.
It was a
like-
close game, but like.
But I mean, at the same time, you got those people out there that love to watch defensive
Yeah,
battles.
true.
So, I mean,
That is 100%
if you love to watch
true.
a great defense, then you
But
love
what
to
brings in
Florida State.
ratings for college football, any type of football, it's offense. And
Nah, it's the SEC. It's not all.
No,
okay,
that's-
all right, that's
because
fair.
Bama,
That's fair.
You don't sit here and act like Bama didn't beat UCF 10-3.
True.
For
True.
USF, yeah.
But I think what the committee was saying, you got to think about it as like, look at the teams now. I mean, they just put up basically a goose egg in their eyes against
hear you.
Louisville. I think they should have been in it.
Louisville, yeah,
If you
sorry.
ask any college athlete, I don't know.
Sorry, it's just like a knack for me, bro. I live up there way too long.
Before he went there, he would have said the same thing.
Louisville. My bad.
My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. But back to the point, like we were all athletes at one point in time. It is no doubt in our minds. I feel like any athlete will say the same thing. They got snubbed. Florida State. They should be in it. Like as being an athlete, like they went undefeated. They did what they were supposed to do. They had their schedule preseason. They beat every single team, and they were a Power 5 conference winner. They should have been in it. But when you think about it as like through ratings, they're gonna put Alabama. They're gonna put Nick Saban in. They're gonna put the Crimson Tide, and like they got more Bama fans than Florida State fans, I guess. I mean, so
It's the SEC, bro. There's nothing else to do in Alabama other than watch Alabama play football.
Fair enough.
Florida has plenty other professional teams, plenty other good sports teams. Alabama has nothing but Alabama football, bro.
Nothing but the Tide.
nothing but the dad. We don't get nothing but the dad.
Yeah, nah. You guys already know my 4. I'm gonna have Michigan at 1, Washington 2. I have Florida State 3, honestly. I mean, they went undefeated. I think they deserve it over Texas. And then Texas at 4. So that's my 4 right
I'm about to
there.
say, we have the same list, honestly, as
Yeah.
far as who should have been in. Michigan, Washington, Florida State, Texas. Who you got? Or what would be your order?
I'll go Michigan 1, Washington 2, Florida State 3, Texas 4. I wanted to ask Wayne, what made you put Texas at 3 and Florida State at 4?
Because Texas beat Alabama and they just had like their team is so explosive. Like they have so many explosive players that can just like change the game.
But
That's
does the
how I
loss
feel.
not matter? Having a loss?
No, it does matter. It definitely does matter. So that's a good question. Like I didn't even think about it like that. But
Yeah, I didn't either.
yeah, no, you stumped.
They should. They should.
That loss
They should.
to Oklahoma really hurt
I just
them.
you
Yeah.
lost a committee where they can decide that their subjective belief about who's better, who's not better matters more than the game, and that's just wrong to me.
Yeah.
Because everybody, I mean, most people would say yesterday, who's the better team between Baltimore and San Francisco before the game? What would you say?
San Fran.
And what happens? They play the game.
They lost. Yeah, they
and they
played
lost
the game. Yeah.
You would have said Washington's better than Oregon. Both times, what happened? Washington wins the game. So you play the game for a reason. You can't just sit here and say, "Oh, this team's better." I get that's their criteria, but their criteria is so vague to where they can put in whoever they want to put in.
Yeah.
Like you said, for the ratings.
For the rating, yeah.
And with 12 teams, it'll hopefully get a little bit better. But at the end of the day, I mean, SEC bias, Big Ten bias will always be around. Hopefully, we move to 2 conferences and
not to get into
we can
like
get
too
rid of
many
this.
conspiracy theories here, but like, do you think Florida State would have made it if Jordan Travis was healthy?
Yes.
What's the thoughts on
I
that?
think that's
doubt.
why they took it.
That was one of the reasons why they said they kept Florida
I
State
hear that
out.
was the reason they say, but I think that's just their scapegoat.
Well,
And
I think it is.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm
Like
gonna put
he's
it this
still playing, they wouldn't have been like, we can put Florida State in over Alabama.
They're not-
They still would have looked at it.
Alabama is getting in no matter what. So we would be sitting here saying they would have got. Then if Jordan Travis is healthy, they put Florida State in. They're not putting Texas in, and we're sitting here saying,
Texas
head to
got-
head doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So either way, we're going to
Someone's
be sitting
getting
here
stuck.
complaining about something because they're not leaving the SEC champion out. They're
True.
not leaving a team from the SEC out.
It's crazy.
I mean,
we talked about it like
Yeah.
halfway through the season.
Me and
Would they
Seth
leave
had
the
an
SEC talk about SEC out? JC was like, nah, no chance. Then end of the year, it came down to Florida State and the SEC. So
Well, you know
We'll
what?
just
My fault. I didn't
no,
mean to
you
cut
go, you
off.
go.
Was it not a few years back that Georgia and Alabama played each other for the SEC championship, and then one of them lost but still made it in the college football playoff?
I'm pretty sure that was the year they played each other in the SEC championship. They rematched the game.
In the
Yeah. In the national
Was
championship.
that Tua's game?
I think
I don't know.
I think it was actually
I
when
know
Jalen
Tua-
Hurts got benched.
yeah.
Yeah.
It might
And
be,
again,
yeah.
it's all about ratings, man.
So yeah, that's
But
just
it's
to the fact
unfortunate.
speaks to the ratings and the SEC point. Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah, I mean-
Clemson back with Trevor Lawrence beat a weaker ACC undefeated, still got in.
Yeah, but again though, we want to talk about that because I mean I brought up the schedule from Clemson's 15-0 year, bro, and like I've said, like to me the reason why Florida State wasn't that one of those top 4 teams because they didn't look dominant enough against the ACC, like.
But like
talking
dominance
about-
can be. You're talking about running up the score, bro. Like
That's what dominance is in football.
no, it's
though.
not.
Like,
Though it's
No,
not
no,
just
no,
running up the score on somebody.
But I'm saying though,
plays
like,
Arkansas is 24-21 at home.
But, like,
they
that's
play
just-
Auburn. Auburn just got beat by New Mexico State by about 30 points at home, and
Yeah.
you're taking a 4th and 33
Hail Mary, like
I
if
get
to
it.
win the
Okay,
game.
time out. Hold on. Let me ask you this: what's the best conference in college football?
SEC.
no doubt.
It's not a-
Okay,
This year-
so not
this year it's debatable.
That's
This
what.
year-
That's
this
all
year
that
is
matters
definitely
though, this
debatable.
year.
This it's definitely debatable this year for sure. But I'm saying like, you look at Clemson when they was in like going 15-0 or 14-1, whatever they were, making the ACC or playoffs or whatever. Their scores, bro. You look at their teams against the ACC. They beat Georgia Tech 49-21. They beat Wake Forest 63-3.
Bro, who else
they beat
was good in the ACC
Listen, I'm
though,
going through it.
those years?
NC State was ranked 16. They beat them
I don't even know who the
41-7.
second best ACC team
But-
was.
Well, it's a beauty pageant. College
Yeah, I
football is a
don't
beauty
even know,
pageant. It's
man.
about. It's all about style.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why.
But I'm saying, if you saying it's style
That's
points
crazy.
and being
Yeah.
dominant,
But no,
Florida
I'm
State
still
beat number 5 LSU by like 20 points.
They did. They beat them, but they beat them by like 20, 21.
25-24.
But
And
even
they
then,
blew-
LSU
and
went
they
what in
blew
the
out
SEC?
Florida
LSU
in
went what in the SEC though? They went like
beat
9.
good
They went
teams.
like what
7-2,
7-2?
This year, the SEC wasn't as strong. I think.
It definitely wasn't as strong, but then again, the ACC also wasn't as strong as it has been before, which is
But
why.
when you look at the head-to-heads, it bolsters as it does compared to other years.
How though?
Because the
and
SEC wasn't as strong.
Look, and look. This year, this is 2018, I believe, or 2019. What Clemson or Trevor Lawrence's freshman year. NC State was 16 in the nation. They beat them 41-7. Boston College was number 17 in the nation. They beat them 27-7. Notre Dame was number 3, 30-3. Then they beat Alabama 44-16 in the championship.
All that's fair. I get your point. Yes, stronger conference. Clemson showed out, beat teams more. And that stuff should come into play if the teams have equal records.
Yeah.
That, to me, strength of schedule, injury to a player, whatever you want to say, shouldn't trump a loss.
Oh, for sure.
A loss means more to your resume than an injured player or maybe a strength of schedule.
Right. And I think that goes back into like the committee just being flawed, like the system in general just being flawed, and how they put who they feel like the 4 teams should be in. And like they don't just do it based on how you say like record, because like if they did like how the NFL did it, Florida State would undoubtedly be in there, and then we get the chance to see them go up against whoever, whether that's Washington, Michigan.
We would have given them a chance. They earned the chance to be at that spot.
And the way that defense was playing, people say, oh, they're not the same team, but we've all been on teams where we've had some star player, best player, great player. They get hurt. What happens when they get hurt? Sometimes the team is better.
Yeah.
Because everybody else steps up and knows it's okay. We got to do this. That defense understood against Louisville what the call was.
Yeah.
They had to show out.
Yeah.
And that was their best game of the year. That was easily the best defensive game of the year. Honestly, all of college football, in my opinion.
And I think the thing about my fault.
No, go ahead.
The thing about football, and I know y'all like, I don't want to say nothing wrong about basketball, so y'all can correct me. But like football, like just from playing it, like that in basketball, if one dude can take over and that can change the whole game.
Yeah.
But like playing football, like all 11 people got to do their job. Like if an O-lineman don't block, the quarterback getting sacked, and then there's no throw. Like if the timing's not right from the quarterback and the guy running his route, if he slipped at the top of a route, we saw it yesterday, it turns into a pick six. Like all these things have to go. Everything has to be almost perfect for something to go right, and it's like, and to your point, just like all that stuff, and then it's like you need, like, it's not one player that's going to change the game. Like there's game changers, there's people that are capable of having a huge impact on the game, but like we see Jordan Travis had a huge impact on the game. But now he's out and he still won. You feel what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
So I agree with you on that. Like I've been saying, because like whenever I talk to Seth and JC just about like football, because I don't know who exactly we're talking about, but I mentioned like I've always said like I'm a system type of guy. Like I trust a system or like a team more than I trust like a player, like a quarterback, I guess per se. But like looking at Florida State as a team, like they have great athletes. Don't get me wrong. Between Jordan Travis, Keon, Johnny,
Trey Benson.
I'm blanking on the DN's name.
Jared
Verse. Like they have
Patrick Payton.
Like they have NFL players like offense and defense, like all across the board. But like when I watched Florida State play this year, like I've been saying this since week 1 since they played number 5 LSU. Like I didn't think LSU was top 15. They finished 14, and I didn't think Florida State was top 4. I thought they were a good team, but I didn't see them being top 4. Like me personally, even when like if everybody's healthy, I don't see them beating Georgia. I could see them possibly competing against Alabama, but like I don't know. At this point in the year, I don't know. And then I feel like they could be a team like Washington, like if their defense plays the way that they did against Louisville.
I was about to say, if their defense is playing the way they did against Louisville, I think that could be any team in the country. Maybe you don't see it happening, but they could be anybody.
Anybody can be anybody. I mean, if we want to look at it.
I'm talking about like a good chance to be anybody. Not like they can. Like they have a good chance to be anybody if they're healthy, bro.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And like Michigan, they could stop Michigan's run, and Michigan's gonna have trouble.
I mean. Could they?
Yes, they can.
We saw Michigan do nothing but run the ball for an entire half.
They have different type of dogs in Florida, bro. They have good linebackers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They got good linemen. Penn State had Chop, and that's it.
But I guess like you look at how granted it is hard to win in Clemson, but like you look at that game against Clemson, bro. Like we really were one play away from beating Florida State, and Florida State not even being. They were. But I'm saying that's the SEC being better than the ACC, though. Back to that conversation, like
Clemson's
better than Auburn, bro.
I mean, but if they play head to head, you don't know. We don't know. We don't know for sure, bro. They might be ranked higher, but like realistically, we don't know, bro. We saw Auburn give.
Clemson's definitely better than Arkansas.
We saw Auburn and give both Georgia and Alabama struggles this year.
Are we better than Arkansas? Is Clemson better than Arkansas?
Yeah, we're better than Arkansas, but is Arkansas better than like I don't know Boston College or somebody or like or like Wake Forest or something like I mean
at the end of the day you play to win. Florida State won every game they played. You can't ask for more. Just because you lose a quarterback, you come down. I mean they.
I feel like you gotta give them a chance.
No, you definitely gotta give them a chance.
They earned it.
Speaking of a chance, though, which conference do you guys feel like gives Florida State the best chance to really compete for a national championship year in and year out moving forward?
I think it's the Big Ten. The SEC would be nice, and only problem with the SEC is that you have Florida in the state, and then you have South Carolina too right there, and I just don't see them pushing for Florida State to be in the conference.
Definitely.
Because Florida State's become such a threat to their recruits that it's just going to hurt their programs a lot. And in the Big Ten, it's just an open market for them. Why would the Big Ten not want Florida State?
Yeah, that's team all the way down south. Yeah.
It's a lot of eyes you're going to have. I mean, it's going to grow the conference because right now it's an arms race between the Big Ten and the SEC. Who's going to be the biggest conference? Fox on one side, ESPN on the other.
And it really is.
And
you got a chance to, with the Florida State, to really move the pen right there.
So
that makes a bunch of sense.
I don't think it. I mean, obviously people want to play in the SEC and there's people that want to play in the Big Ten, but like that is why we're having this conversation, and that's why, like, it don't matter. As soon as they leave the ACC, they're gonna get better recruits because it's like some people want to play against the top teams, and either way you go about it, you're playing someone that's been in the college football playoff for the last 2 to 3 years consistently, like Ohio State and Michigan or whoever else has been in the Big Ten that's consistently been up there, and you got Bama and Georgia who's consistently been up there. So either way you cut it, you're gonna get different recruits that are gonna give you a chance to win. Now, whether or not they're going to turn out the way that you think they're going to turn out, and they're going to produce, and you're going to be able to go with the change of schedule, strength of schedule, if you're playing consistent good teams from top to bottom, then that's a little bit different talk. But I think they will have a better chance either way they go.
Definitely.
Yeah. I have no idea on the matter, to be honest, but I think it's good that they are.
All right, I'm about to say, you don't have no idea. Which conference would you rather see them in then?
Personally, probably the SEC.
Okay.
Because, I don't know, I mean, I just feel like I see more SEC games rather than Big Ten games. So I would rather want to see them playing against Bama and Georgia compared to, like, I don't know, it's also just a different style of football, too.
In the Big Ten.
In the Big Ten, like.
But you got Oregon, USC coming in, Washington. So it's going to change.
To the Big Ten?
The Big Ten's going to change a good amount.
Because
the
they disbanded.
That's tough.
So like the Pac-12, the Pac-12 got dismantled, bro. So you got like how the teams he named going to the Big Ten, but you also got like Colorado. I want to say Arizona State. They're going to the Big 12. So
that's what Chip Kelly was talking about, right?
Yeah.
And all the how he feels like it should just be a commissioner of all of college football.
Yeah, that's how. It should
so
be.
that's why, because like now you're seeing like Arizona and like Arizona State, their basketball and softball teams can't even play each other anymore, and that's like huge rivalries.
Yeah.
Because they're moving to the whatever conference.
They can still play. Louisville plays Kentucky every year.
Whatever.
Just schedule the rivalry game.
Yeah, true, but like it's just different. I feel
it's
like
not as easy.
Yeah,
No.
Definitely. Not definitely. Who you got?
Well, you not gonna go? We gonna?
I'm gonna go.
All right.
Everybody else to go.
I mean, I would. Okay, I'm gonna answer both your questions. I'm gonna answer like what they had the best chance in, and who would I want to see them in. I think they had the best chance of getting to the playoffs through the Big 12. Honestly, just because like the Big 10, you got those powerhouses like Ohio State, Michigan, even like Penn State every so often. Like, I think it'd be tough. I think they have a better chance of winning the Big 12 conference and getting in like securely that way than like maybe having to go up against Michigan or Ohio State in the conference championship and then being like, we might get like a 8 or 9 seed or like a 6 seed after that, whatever. But like,
I heard what you're saying.
I mean,
kind of like best chance to get in through the Big 12, but I feel like they got a better chance to win if they go to the SEC or Big 10.
to win what?
The actual championship.
I mean,
Going to the Big 12 gives you a really good chance to get in the playoffs. But like actually winning, you have a better chance if you go to the Big 10 or SEC.
Are you saying the
aren't you
Big
just trying
12
to
is better than the SEC?
I gotta
is
disagree
currently?
with that.
I'm about to say like what? Like what? Wait, I'm trying to wait. Like what are you saying exactly?
All right.
Like,
So if you go to the Big 12, you got a guaranteed spot to get in, but
Yeah.
you're gonna be like
Is
a
it
4 or
guaranteed?
5,
I mean,
6,
you have to win the
Yeah.
conference.
like some seed like that. If you go to the SEC or Big 10, you're getting better recruits than you would in the Big 12 first.
Okay.
Yes.
And then second, if you win it, you're gonna be like a 1 or a 2 seed going in.
yeah, I guess the way I see it, bro, is like I agree with both of y'all. Like they would definitely get better recruits in like the SEC or Big 10 or something like that. Like,
Bro, if you have the
SEC
same
specifically.
record in both conferences, you're gonna be higher if you're in the SEC or Big
That's
10.
the thing though. I don't think they're gonna have the same record in the SEC as they would the Big 12.
Even if it's
hard.
one loss.
I think
you saw
They're-
they put a one loss
again,
team
I
up
don't
there.
think they're gonna have just one loss in the SEC, bro. Like the SEC is tough,
No,
and then you
for
want to
sure.
add Florida State to that, bro. Like I mean, they just added Texas and Oklahoma to the SEC, and you already got Georgia and Bama.
Yeah,
in
but
there.
think about the pressure, bro. If you go to the Big 12, you can't can't lose, bro.
Yeah,
you
that's-
can't
yeah,
lose.
I mean,
If you go to the SEC,
Yeah.
you can lose 2 games and still get in.
You can lose. That's the thing though. I think there's a lot of teams that like. Not even just Florida State, bro. Teams like
They're in the
Texas
same
or
situation
Bama
in the
could
Big 12.
lose to.
Like,
I
it's
don't-
the same situation they're in right now.
Let me put it
if
like
they go
this
to the Big
though.
12.
Like you saying that they're gonna have a better chance if they go to the Big 12, right? And we talking about like recruits do play a part in that, right? So
Yeah.
think about this. Missouri is the worst team in the SEC, like besides Vanderbilt. Like they're pretty, like not the worst team, but they're bad. They're not.
Missouri's like
They
11th
did
in
not
the
go
nation.
11-2 this
They
year.
are this year.
Yeah, bro.
Bro, wait.
They played Ohio
But
State,
listen,
bro.
But listen, bro.
But
I'm
keep
saying
going, keep going.
before
Program-wise,
this year,
program-wise.
before
Okay,
this year,
yes.
Okay,
before this year ever started,
Yeah.
they still
would've
signed
never been
the
let them
number
get up there.
1 wide receiver commit in the nation.
Yeah.
That was when they were garbage.
Yeah.
The number 1 wide receiver commit is not going to go to a Pac-12 school, even if.
I mean, Travis Hunter just transferred to.
yeah, but that's because of
Colorado.
Deion.
That's 'cause of
You know,
Deion.
anytime-
That's what I'm saying. So,
yeah, but
like,
nobody else is over there is like Deion.
It's not.
You
It's
know what
not
I'm
just.
saying?
It's not just about the image of the school though. Coach has a lot to do with it too. I mean,
Yeah,
there are
there's
some
no
people.
That's Deion
There's no
Sanders.
Deion.
He's at Jackson
Agreed.
State getting Travis Hunter to come there. That's
Agreed. There's nobody like Deion. I agree, but I'm saying there are some coaches who players might not want to go play for, or they might want to prefer to play like. Okay, me personally, like if I was a football player getting recruited by Kirby Smart or by who's Florida State's head coach,
Mike.
like I'm sorry, I want to go play for Kirby. That's not nothing against
That's fine.
Vrabel, but
Yeah,
like that's just
cool.
like
But am I gonna go play against Iowa State and then like be okay, or do I want to go and show out against Georgia and be like, once I show out against Georgia, that makes my draft stock rise?
yeah. I mean, like I see the point as far as like getting better recruits, maybe get like on a bigger stage, but like I just see
More money,
the SEC.
like, it's a lot more than just better recruits. More money.
I know,
goes
yeah, but
into
we're
it.
talking about getting to the playoffs, getting to the championship. I think it's definitely a harder path getting to the playoffs and to the championship through the SEC. Because again, you got to face
So you
Georgia,
think-
Bama, Texas, Oklahoma. Now you got to throw in Tennessee's looking good in football now. Like Missouri, they just finished top 10 this year. Like
So it's easier to win the Big 12 than it would be to finish top 3 or 4 in the SEC.
yes. Absolutely, bro. The top 2 teams in the SEC are Bama, Georgia automatically. Then Texas just beat
And then-
Bama this year.
I think
That's
if
3
Florida State joins
already.
in there and gets those type of resources, I mean,
They're right there with the
they're
Texas
gonna
and
be
Bama.
there, bro.
I mean, they're gonna be there, but I'm just saying it's still. I feel like all those teams are just gonna beat up on each other. Like, so
Yeah.
you're not
All
gonna
you
have.
gotta do is
You're
be
not gonna.
top 4 though.
But I'm
bro.
saying you're not gonna have an undefeated SEC team. You
Top
might not even
4
have a
for sure.
one-loss SEC team after.
Yeah, but
this,
if you
but-
finish
Yeah.
top 4, you're in.
if you finish top 4 in the SEC, you'll get ranked what though? Probably.
You're
If-
in.
Like,
You're
If you
in.
get okay, if you
top
get
4 would
if
be
you
like
get-
7 or 8.
Getting,
Yeah.
You can finish number 1 in the Big 10 or Big 12 and get in.
And
That's
if
what
you're
I'm saying.
2, you're out.
The
So
market-
if
You
have
don't know
one
that.
bad week-
We don't know that though.
If
It's
you have
12
one bad
teams.
week,
It's
you're
12
out.
teams though. We don't know that.
Christian,
We
we
don't
just
know.
saw they did that with the ACC.
Yeah, they
this
just
year.
did
The
that.
ACC
They
is
just
did it.
weak, bro. We went
That's
over
what
the
the
Big
Big
12.
is gonna be weak
But I'm
compared
saying,
to.
bro, the Big 12 just got some
Shut,
teams
man.
though, bro.
But they
Like,
lost Texas.
I'm saying, no, time out. 'Cause we're not gonna act like no, because we're not gonna act like the Pac-12 didn't just have like 6 to 8 ranked teams this year.
This was
who
an anomaly though for Pac-12.
It was an anomaly, but they had 6 to 8 ranked teams this year who transferred to different conferences, whether that's the Big 10 or Big 12 or maybe even AC. The weaker teams in the Pac-12 went to what conference?
The Big
The
12.
ACC. The
Hold up.
ACC.
Well, the ACC too.
Like, come on.
Their top dogs went to
Their
Big
top
10,
dogs
though.
went to the Big 10 and Big 12, though.
No, Big 10, bro.
Bro, let's be honest. And Travis,
USC, Washington, and Oregon all went
Okay.
to the Big 10.
And Arizona finished. Arizona finished
But
top.
Arizona's not a big dog.
They're
But
not
in the
big
Pac-12, they were, bro.
This
In the
year-
Pac-12,
this
they
year
were.
they were.
We're going based off this year. That's what we've been talking about
Yeah,
this year,
we're
right?
talking
With
about
Jordan
program
Travis and
stuff.
Florida State, we're talking about this year. I'm talking about this year with the Pac-12. The Pac-12 had a great year compared
They
to how
did.
they've had in the past,
For
bro.
sure.
And still, all those teams left. And you look at the teams like Cal, garbage. Stanford, garbage. SMU, they all went to the ACC because that's where they feel like they can compete the
Yeah.
most. If Florida State can compete the most and compete the best,
I don't think
Also,
they
it would be
that
high
they
academic
was thinking
standard.
conferences
Yeah.
who they
They go
can
to the
compete
ACC.
with. This
They
will
can
be
go
that
to the
check
Big
is
Ten.
getting
That was their
cut.
No,
option.
it's not
They
the
didn't have
ACC
an option to
standard,
go to
bro.
the Big Ten. The Big Ten wasn't going to take Cal. Instead.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah, because they're
they're
not a good
garbage.
They're
program.
not good enough.
Yeah, that's true though because like what was it? Oklahoma State's in the Mountain West now because nobody wanted to pick them up.
Yeah, I mean Oklahoma State also don't make they made the championship this year.
Yeah,
They
Oregon
definitely
State,
made it this
Oregon
year.
They're not in
Oh,
the
Oregon State,
Mountain
yeah.
West, but they're kind of playing a Mountain West schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, I don't know. To answer the question, I think they would have a better chance in the Big 12. I would want to see them in the SEC, though. To answer your question, I would want to see Florida State in the SEC because they could finish top 4, all that, whatever. But I don't see them coming in and just making noise the way everybody thinks they would.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I just think what you're saying is fair. Georgia, Alabama, obviously. But you're seeing Florida State right now with ACC resources.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Bro, that's why I'm taking into consideration their recruits they're going to be getting and everything. But it's not like Georgia.
They're about to get some dogs, bro. It's different. When money comes into play, like when you get an influx of money, bro, everything changes.
Dude, I think y'all are just sleeping on the fact that, like, yes, they might take a couple recruits from Kirby or from Saban, but at the end of the day, bro.
Yeah, no, you're right.
At the end of the day, Saban is the greatest college football coach ever.
Saban has like 5 years though. Like he's gonna be done.
We talking about this year, possibly
50 years of college football like going after that.
Okay, bro. I'm pretty sure Saban's successor is probably gonna be somebody close to as good as him, bro.
You never know,
look at
bro.
Kirby.
You never know. That's very tough. Like he's an all-time great coach.
Look at all the coaches that Saban has sent through Alabama and where they have gone.
They're great coaches.
Okay, so do you think Alabama's really just gonna let Saban? Saban's gonna pick his successor.
Yeah, he is.
It's gonna be someone good.
It's gonna be someone
really
good.
It's
But
not
knows
gonna
what
be
they're doing.
Saban.
It's not gonna be Saban.
And like you're saying, Florida State is one move away, moving and getting Dion or someone like that from being, they got Dion there. Like no coach is gonna be over Dion.
No,
if he goes
but
to Florida State.
Obviously, he's not going to Florida State right now.
Norvell's good though. Norvell.
Yeah,
He's good. No, he's good. He's good. And then the other thing is like not everybody's strictly looking at the coach. Like a lot of people looking at colleges are gonna be like, I could go to Florida or I could go live in Georgia or Alabama.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You gotta think
that's
about
a landslide right
That's
there.
a landslide. Like if you're thinking like, I can get SEC football and also go to Tallahassee for the next 3 to 4 years, like it's a big thing. Recruiting, it's not all about like who you're playing with or who you're playing for. It's about because you're getting these kids for like the next 3-4 years.
Potentially.
With transfer portal, you never know.
But I mean,
bro,
think about it this way: Texas A&M had the #1 recruiting class in the SEC this year.
They're young, bro.
They do. They went 4-4 in the SEC. It's not that easy just to be able to. Yeah, you may get the recruits, but at the end of the day, you got to go out there. You got to perform.
Being a #1 recruit, really, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, it don't matter once you get to college, bro.
Yeah.
Like, once you get to college, like, if you them stars, all that goes away. Like, what do we see when Hunter Renfrow was at Clemson and he was start? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, all that stuff.
That's my point, though. Like y'all saying,
but to your point, as far as recruiting, like. If they go to the SEC, imagine all the Florida boys is gonna stay home. Yeah. Like everybody's gonna stay home because I can play at Florida.
What about? I'm saying that's the thing though. They got another school in Florida.
Florida State is way better than playing at Florida though.
I mean,
right now, yeah. Today, like right now.
You can toss it up, bro. You can definitely toss it up.
Historically, yes, but like right now, the last 3 seasons, how many ever moved
You talking
forward?
about Florida boys, bro? You know, like how many Florida boys be like, oh yeah, like grew up a Florida fan. Some of them grew up Florida fans, some grew up Florida State fans.
But that's the reason why Florida doesn't want Florida State in the SEC, and because they know the competition that will bring to them. It's.
I mean, I'm not like again. I think wherever Florida State goes, they can definitely do some damage, but I don't think it's gonna be as much of a cakewalk as people may make it seem.
Yeah, no.
I'm saying, I don't see them coming in and being one of the top 4 teams in the SEC.
But let's say
that's a bad statement.
How is that a bad statement?
They would have been top 4 this year.
How?
In the SEC?
No.
They would have been top 4.
They might have been number 4. They might have been number 4.
Georgia, Alabama, like who's third?
Texas would have been third. I don't think we're in the SEC this year, but like looking forward in the future, bro, Texas is going to be the top 4 team in the SEC.
You can't just say Texas is over Florida State. Right?
You can't even.
They're in the playoffs this year, are they not?
Okay.
Okay. My bad.
Did you say Florida State should have been in the playoffs?
I said should have. I said okay. No, time out. Because what did I just say? I said they should have been. I said they should have been in, but I don't see them being a top 4 team. Did I not say that?
Bro,
So
they
don't
were
try
on
to
your
twist my
list at
words.
what, 3? You
No,
had them
my-
on your list at 3.
Should have, and
you
I
had
still
them on your list at 3.
Bro, if you want to rewind this and hear what I said that they should have been on the list at 3. But I also said I don't think that they were top 14. I also said that I don't think LSU was top 15. That's
and they
exactly
finished
what I
14.
said.
They finished 14.
Okay,
so
and
what?
they finished by the skin of their teeth.
Bad takes.
Like, congratulations, bro. Like, again, they should have been in by the integrity of the game. But like I said earlier in this episode, like I said a few weeks ago on the episode I had by myself when I talked about them missing out of the playoffs, I don't think Florida State was a top 4 team in the country with Jordan Travis. I just don't.
But
That's my opinion.
So
Like,
I'm saying, so
Losing to Oklahoma isn't
overtime,
bad,
you don't
bro.
think
Like,
if they went
nobody
to
said it
the
wasn't
SEC,
bad.
they wouldn't consistently finish? Like, you're
3 or
saying
4.
that, like, do you think that they would be better once they got into the SEC?
They
Do you
would
think
be a better team.
And they
Yes,
would consistently
I agree,
get better,
but I don't
right?
think they're consistently going to finish top 4 in the SEC. No, I
Yeah,
don't.
that's fair.
Especially when you have, because like
They're
you
not
think about it,
consistently going to be number 1
who
in the
would've
Big
thought-
12.
yeah,
I mean, they have a better chance of consistently being 1 in the Big 12 than
No.
they
Got a
finish
better
top 4
chance
in
of
the
finishing
SEC.
top 4 than number 1.
Let me ask you this. Hold on. Time out. With the exclusion of Texas and Oklahoma, who's the best team in the Big 12? When you take out Texas and Oklahoma in the Big 12, who's the best team in the Big 12 now?
I mean, best team is so year to year.
Okay, but like who?
TCU was there 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
TCU
You
sucked.
had Baylor, who used to be there
Okay.
5 years ago.
Exactly.
Colorado is
Okay.
going to take a huge step.
You naming these
Colorado's
teams-
the most dangerous program, I would
Bro,
say.
what I'm saying is the Big 12 does not have now with Texas and Oklahoma going, they don't have a team that's
Yeah,
consistently
no, you're
going to be good. So
But-
True.
But going
put in
undefeated
Florida
is tough,
State-
bro.
That's very tough.
Nobody said they're going to go undefeated. You got to finish number 1 in the Big 12. You can have one loss and get in. TCU had one loss and got in. They lost their conference championship and still got in the playoffs. I mean,
You
like,
don't have to have that type of pressure if you go to the SEC or Big Ten. You realize
bro,
that,
you
right?
have way more pressure in the SEC, bro. What? Like, what?
Not in terms of winning, though.
You think-
Like, you gotta win,
Bro.
but you don't have to win as much, as dominant as you do
Yes, you
in the
do
Big
now,
12.
bro. Because you think about it, bro.
It's the same thing they're facing in the ACC, though, is it not?
No, it's not. The ACC is a lot worse than the SEC. A lot worse.
Yeah,
So is the
that's
Big 12.
though.
The Big 12 is
A
more
lot
competitive.
worse. It's a lot worse
It's
than
more
the SEC.
competitive.
The Big 12 is more competitive than the ACC?
This year, probably.
We talking
wanna
about, but no, we're not
Texas.
talking about this year though. You was just talking about consistently.
No.
All right,
Look at all the
consistently.
teams that left. OU's gone.
Like I said-
Texas is gone.
Clemson was the one who ran the ACC for the past 6 to 8 years. Outside of that, nobody really was doing much. Same thing kind of with the Big 12. You got Texas and Oklahoma running the Big 12 for the past few
So
years.
who's gonna run it now then?
I don't know who's going to run it right now, but if Florida State joins the Big 12, they would be running the Big 12.
They just ran the
Bro,
ACC and didn't make it though.
Yeah.
Bro, that's what I'm saying though. But
And
like,
this is the same type of
the
conference.
ACC was a lot worse this
No,
year.
the Big
bro.
12 is the same type of conference,
Yeah.
bro.
Dude, alright, bro.
Look at the teams in it. They had their 2 best teams leave.
I know. We saying like look at
What
the future.
quality
though.
wins could they get out
We
of that
talking about,
conference?
bro, we talking about this year,
What
right?
quality wins could they get out of that conference?
Bro,
You gotta think
Colorado's
about
in there now. Arizona State are in there now. Like, I mean, you can have some
Arizona
teams.
State
those
and
are-
Arizona.
Arizona
Those
finished-
are
Arizona was,
teams
top
that,
20
like-
this year.
Aren't
Louisville was top 20.
Okay,
What?
but like,
Yeah,
they lost to Kentucky.
I just feel like if you go
Arizona
to the
had bad losses,
SEC,
like-
if you go to the SEC, you're constantly playing the best of the best, and you're constantly going to be getting better from playing that competition.
Like
so
you
I
saw
feel
what
like
Alabama looked
they
bad
would
to
have a
start of the
better-
year. They can
yeah.
win some games and get in. Florida
Bro,
State, if they
you would
look
have
bad at the
I feel
start
like
of
you
the
would have
year,
a
they
better
can't get in.
chance because, like, obviously strength of schedule matters. Because, I mean, if you look at it this year, so obviously if they're playing those hard games and they actually pull out some wins, I feel like that would go more to them just beating up on, like.
But I'm saying though,
teams
like,
that
I just see
Definitely.
like, bro, you got Georgia, Bama, you got LSU who won the national championship 3 years ago. You got Texas A&M who's getting some of the best recruiting classes in the SEC.
Oh, for sure.
You also got Missouri now who finished top 10 in the SEC this year. That's 5 teams right there alone. That's already like
No one's
contenders
disputing
in
that the SEC is the best football
Then you
conference.
you add Texas, you add Oklahoma. That's 7 teams in the SEC right there who are like legit teams who could compete to finish top 5 in the SEC. So to say that, oh yeah, Florida State gets in there, they're going to consistently finish top 4 in the SEC. I can't just sit here and be like, yeah, I agree. Especially when you have those teams I just named who are in the SEC who they're going to have to see every year, bro. Like,
7 out of 10 years, they would be top 4.
I disagree again.
That's fair, but the thing
That's
is,
fair.
in the Big 12, the margin of error is so slim. Like, you have to win the conference to feel comfortable about getting in.
And
Second
the
of
thing
all-
is about like leaving what they just were in,
Yeah.
bro. Like,
Second of all, though, they go to the Big 12, then they make the playoff. Their team isn't going to be most likely good enough to compete over time because the SEC and Big Ten are going to be growing so much as conferences to where they're making triple the revenue of what these Big 12 and ACC schools are making. It's just going to be tough to keep up. You're not going to leave the ACC just to take maybe even a small step up to the Big 12. That's not a big enough step.
And if you're putting in all that money to leave the ACC, bro, you want to get money back on your investment over time. Like that's so much money. That's not something that you want to just flip around in the next year, bro. That's a long term.
I think y'all the way I see it, bro, I don't think there's a guarantee that they're gonna be one of the top dogs in the SEC though.
No, I mean,
that's what I'm
guaranteed.
saying.
There's no guarantee they're gonna be top dog.
They have a better chance of being a top dog in the Big 12 than they do the SEC.
But it's not guaranteed.
They're not.
Okay.
But so when you're talking about them going to the Big 12, are you thinking about them with Big 12 resources and players?
That's what
I agree. Right now?
Listen, they would definitely get the best resources out of SEC or better even out of the Big 10. Like I agree with that. But
so in terms of winning the national championship, you have to go to the SEC or Big 10.
If they
I
want
have
to,
one more question for you though, too, which is really important nowadays.
What's up?
Is you think that they're gonna go to the Big 12 and then the NIL that they're gonna be able to offer the players is gonna be the same if they go to
Not
the
even
SEC?
close.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think like SEC and Big 10 definitely got it when it comes to money, views, revenue, recruits. Like they got it. They definitely got it.
Bro,
but at the same time, I'm saying, bro, bro. At this point, all right. If you want to say SEC and Big 10 are just the best two conferences, like how JC was saying earlier, those should just be the two conferences. Then at the end of the day,
they're working towards that, honestly, bro.
But I'm saying
if Florida State goes to one of those two, all they need is Clemson and maybe Colorado to join one of the two.
Okay, but
all the dominant teams are.
Okay, then you think about it, bro. You can't have every dominant team in just two conferences. Then recruits are going to be a lot more even than they even are now.
That's a good thing, though, bro. They need us to even out a little bit.
But I'm saying then at that point, if everybody's getting all the same recruits up and down the board, then it's really going to come down to who's coaching those teams. Like y'all said, the coaching wasn't really that important. If it comes down to two conferences and everybody's getting all the same recruits and all the same revenues and everybody's making all the same money, it's going to come down to, at the end of the day, who's putting in work between February and August without a top seed starting.
If you go to the Big 12 with Johnny Appleseed, you can't compete with teams with Alabama.
Okay, Deion's in the Big 12.
Bro.
That's
my point, bro. He can win a championship, but it's going to be way harder to win a championship through the Big 12 than the SEC or Big 10.
You saw what Deion did getting everybody transferred to Colorado, and you seen Colorado now has one of the top 5 recruiting classes going into next year. So if Deion could do that,
you need a Deion though, bro. You need a Deion.
Okay, that's the coach. That's what I just said. The coach. That's
Deion
what I
one
just said.
of one. Name another Deion, bro.
Bro, there's not another Deion. That's the whole point.
Okay,
but I'm saying you also got great coaches in the college football like Saban, like Kirby, like Deion, or
if you go to the Big 10 or SEC, you don't have to depend on having a great coach.
Bro, if you go to two conferences like how we're saying and everybody get all the same recruits, you have to depend on the coach.
All get the same recruits.
I'm saying, bro, not all the same, but if the recruits are more evened out with the Big 10 and the SEC and everything,
so I go to the Big 12 and get worse recruits, worse players, then what?
Okay, I'm talking about with the two conferences thing between the SEC and the Big 10. That's how it's going to be in the future, and everybody's getting similar recruits and everything. It's going to come down to the head coach. It's going to come down to the coach.
But you're saying they should join the Big 12, so what's your point?
Well, now they should join the Big 12 now, yes.
I think that's a part of it.
Man, we've seen Texas win the national championship in the Big 12. We've seen Oklahoma make it to the playoffs in the Big 12.
In terms of winning, though, where do most of the winners come from, Christian?
SEC. That's what I'm saying. If they go to the SEC, they're not going to do jack squat in there, bro. The SEC's already dominant. They're not going to let Florida State come in and just take over, let alone be one of the top teams in the conference, bro.
Why they going to let Texas come in? They can come and dominate. What you mean?
Because Texas historically has been great. I mean, FSU has too, but in the ACC.
So FSU wasn't going fair with Jameis Winston when they was winning back-to-back.
They did, and then what happened to Jameis when they played Oregon? All right.
You talking about one?
That's one game.
Texas has not been irrelevant since 2009.
They said we're back. They literally made a phrase. We're back.
They said we're back for sure.
Because they were irrelevant.
I wouldn't say irrelevant, but at the end of the day, they weren't good, but they were still relevant. People were still wanting to watch Texas football.
People still want to watch Florida State.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. They can go to Florida State can go to the Big 12 and still get maybe not SEC recruits, but they can get people to go win a national championship.
Bro, listen, I'm gonna put it like this, bro. Like nowadays, everything's about money and where they can get to the money in. If you telling me, I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, a lot of people are gonna want to go play for Dion, but if you telling me I can go show out against the best team and have a better chance to go to the league, I'm
quite
gonna go
literally
play
make
against the
millions.
best
Like
team.
right now, you got to think about it in ways of like these kids coming up with the NIL. I mean, yeah, but the big name players. That's the ones like we're talking about, like the recruits. When we say recruits, everybody's gonna get recruits. There's millions of players all around, like across the nation.
Facts.
But those top, like cream of the crop, these are people who are like, oh, I'm going to the league already. I need to get my bread now, like right now. So you got to think about it. Which of these schools have the resources, have the NIL connections, and all these things to produce that? Because that's what's gonna draw in these major top players. I
agree with y'all on the players coming into the team. Like I agree.
So how does that not
better
give them a better chance then?
I don't think those other teams who are in the SEC and have been in the SEC for the past 20 plus years is going to let a team like Florida State going to come in and be a top 4 team in the conference.
I just somebody come in and be a top 4 team. If it happens that way, it's going to happen that way.
It's not a matter of letting go.
It's not like they all going to get together and be like, we're not going to let these guys be good. We're going to stop them from being good. If they good, they good. I mean, they good.
If they're in the SEC, they would definitely be a better team than they are in the ACC with recruits and everything.
What about
like
Big
I was
12?
saying, they would probably be a similar, if not better team. I feel like, they could get similar recruits, bro.
No, they couldn't.
From the ACC and that Big 12. ACC, Big 12.
Okay. Big 12, the
whole
SEC
problem
or Big
is,
10?
but the whole problem is nobody's worried about the Florida State's roster this year. Nobody said they were a bad team this year, did they?
No.
Did anybody complaining about, Florida State, they missing this piece, missing that piece?
I mean, you talking about they were the top 4 teams.
I said they were the top 4 teams. That does not mean. I also said that they had NFL talent. Did I not?
But you're complaining about their team.
Yeah, it's more about just who you got on the team, bro. It's who you got coaching, who you got doing all this stuff. It's a lot more than just who's on the roster. Because, like I said, they have probably head to toe, they have one of the best rosters in college football this year in the ACC, and they don't have the same recruits as the SEC, and they still have one of the best rosters, and yet they still, unfortunately,
then how they not
had
in your top 4 then if they went undefeated?
Because it takes more than just a roster, bro. It takes more than just who's on your roster.
So strictly coaching is the last thing.
No.
If it takes more than a roster, they went undefeated.
I'm about to say they went undefeated and had
their body of work.
You gotta look good. Your body of work wasn't good enough.
But how did Alabama lose?
How's your body not? Yeah,
bro,
Alabama got lost.
SEC is a lot harder, and the USF thing, they benched Jalen Milroy for a backup quarterback, and they still won that game.
Jalen Milroy is not that.
I'm not saying he's that. I'm saying they benched their starting quarterback for that game, and they still won. Auburn gave Georgia and Alabama struggles this year. If you go back and look at that game.
But
New Mexico State, okay, cool. They lost to Liberty. So, I mean,
that's all a game of matchups, though. That's all you're explaining. It don't matter. It's a game of matchups.
It is a game of matchups for sure, and I don't see Florida State matching up well in the SEC against those teams. Not to finish top 4. Not to finish top 4.
That's a crazy statement, but enough of a if, and, or whatever. We got an actual playoff coming up in a few days. We got 2 great bowl games. First, we got Michigan versus Alabama. What's your guys' predictions in that game, really? Who we see coming out?
I mean, personally, I can't watch this game. I'm a Florida State fan, and it hurts my heart just to watch the playoff this year. But if I had to make a prediction, I would go with Michigan. I know their Achilles heel has been the SEC. Harbaugh hasn't got it done against the SEC. But I feel like this year's team is different. This is a team that's returning back. Most of the team who lost to TCU last year, even most of the team who got smoked by Georgia a couple years ago. And I just think they're hungry, and Harbaugh's faced so much adversity this year, the team has, that they've just came together, and they're a different team ready to prove it this year, and I think they get it done.
Definitely.
Dwayne, who you got?
You know who I got. Michigan. And the reason, it's really gonna be it's gonna be a very defensive game. But and the reason I say Michigan is because Jalen Milroe, he's struggled to be consistent. He struggled to effectively pass the ball consistently.
Even recently?
I mean, recently that's cool, but I'm saying on a consistent basis though. He throwing for 225, 200 a game, bro.
Okay, we saw JJ McCarthy throw.
No, I'm not saying that. I feel you, but the thing is though,
about to respond to him,
run game wise too, they got a better run game. Alabama has relied on their run game, so has Michigan, but Michigan also has 3 of the top linemen for the draft. Mm-hmm. Alabama only got 1. it's gonna be things that's gonna really determine the game. I think it's gonna be close. It's gonna come down to grit. But I do think that Michigan is gonna come out with it, and like their time of possession, but like Michigan holds the ball. Like they're not gonna give you that many chances. Like if you mess up against Michigan, they're holding that ball and they're gonna run it, take time off the clock, like, and then hit you with a little play action pass or a pass or whatever. Like they're a great defensive coach, you know, and Saban and all of that. Like I think they're gonna have time to adjust, but I just don't see Jalen Milroe being consistent enough to, if the run game gets stopped this game, for him to effectively pass it. And I just don't think that. I think Michigan has other ways of keeping their run game intact and being able to throw off that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what I think.
Definitely. What you got, folks?
Personally, I think it's going to be a really good game, really close. But when I look at two good teams like this, because you got two great defenses, offenses are good at times, I guess this year terms. But when you look at it, you got to think about I look at star players and coaches. I mean, Alabama, you got Nick Saban over Harbaugh. I'm taking Nick Saban. And then when you got like two good defenses and just athletes all around the field on both teams, you look at the quarterback. I mean, Jalen Milroe, you said it earlier this year, he's a running back. Like he's starting to throw the ball better. And when you look at it, you give Nick Saban a month to prepare. Motherfucker's like Batman or something. But like, he's got a month to prepare, so he can work with Milroe to like what defense he's gonna be seeing, so he can like slow the game down a little bit. So when I look at
nothing
like
to sneeze at though, bro. Like,
I know for sure.
NFL coach went to Super Bowls.
That's what I'm saying.
That's NFL coaches on his coaching staff. So.
What has he done in the playoffs at Michigan? Sorry, my bad.
I say nothing to sneeze at. Nothing to sneeze at.
But also you have to think about it.
What was Michigan doing before Harbaugh got there in those years?
I mean, winning national championships, but okay.
The few years before he got there?
Few years, no, but historically, okay.
Talk about the 90s.
Man, this is the worst year for like Alabama as far as discipline wise. Like they got, I'm looking, they got 75 penalties for 640 yards compared to Michigan's 38 for 342. They're averaging 49 penalty yards per game to Michigan's 26. That's going to really determine the outcome of the game. Play behind the stick.
But that's why I look at, you give Nick Saban so much time to prepare, he's going to get his guys to like ready to go.
He's been preparing the whole summer and the whole year, so why he still This is not characteristic of a Nick Saban team to be this undisciplined. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, but is it characteristic for Nick Saban to bench his quarterback in week 2 and then bring him back and the quarterback looks better than he did?
I just feel like it's something Nick Saban had to do, and like he
had to.
I'm taking Bama. I don't know if that was clear or not. I'm taking Bama.
Okay.
Folks got Bama. I'm rolling with Michigan. Y'all heard it. I feel like Harbaugh's still a really good coach. He can still game plan, make adjustments the same way Nick Saban can. He has a full staff of former NFL coaches that went through this at a higher level than what they're about to do right now. So I feel like they can still get it done with their coaching staff. They got the players. They got 2 great running backs, 2 NFL running backs in their backfield, bro. Like, you can have a healthy, 100%, not tired running back at any time in the game if you want to.
Man, I've seen Michigan in the playoffs how many times? Like 3, maybe? This is the 3rd year, I think.
This is the 3rd in a row.
Yeah. Starting in a row. I saw them get embarrassed by TCU.
Or did they get embarrassed or did they shoot themselves in the foot, though?
I saw them get embarrassed by TCU, and then I saw them lose to Georgia. At the end of the day, okay, this is the best Michigan team I've seen in the past few years, for sure.
Great.
Easily. This is like the best Michigan team I've seen. However, to Foles' point, I trust Nick Saban more than I trust Jim Harbaugh, at least in college. NFL is a different situation, but I like Nick Saban. I like Bama in the situation. I don't think Michigan's going to be able to just dominantly run the ball the way that they have been all year. And I think when they have to come out and pass the ball, it's going to be an interesting game. I think if both teams have to end up.
No, they do. No, I was just talking about offensive line. I wasn't talking about the whole thing.
But it's still Bama. They got dogs everywhere, man. Like, no matter the year. Like, they got the future NFL players, like, contributing NFL players no matter the year.
And I mean, like to y'all's point, y'all said Michigan has had basically the same roster the past 2 years, and that roster hasn't been able to get it done. So, I don't know why I would trust them 3rd year in a row. But
that's fair.
Especially against Nick Saban.
Experience, yeah.
Their experience of losing, but
that's experience.
Yeah, Nick Saban has experience too. of winning. So
Yep.
I mean,
he knows
I'm
what
gonna
to do.
I'm gonna take an experienced winner over an experienced loser, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Got you.
But,
We got 3 Michigan, 2 Alabama. Second game though, we got Washington versus Texas. I mean, I don't know. This one should be a better, more interesting game to me at least. High scoring, better offenses.
I think this will
more
be the
firepower
best.
offensively.
Yeah.
Is Xavier Worthy okay? Nobody know if he's healthy. I think that's gonna be
That's the wide receiver from Texas, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna play.
I saw he got injured against Oklahoma State kind of towards the end of the game. I think his health will kind of play a key role in this game. But start off, I'm gonna take Texas in that game. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Washington, don't get me wrong, they have a great offense, they have a great quarterback, great receivers, but I don't think Washington's defense is gonna be able to hold that Texas offense, especially with I thought Quinn Ewers was the best quarterback in college football this year, even before he got hurt, and I thought he was gonna be, if he went to the draft, I thought he was gonna be the best one even in a draft. So, I mean, I'm gonna stand on that. I really like Quinn. I like Texas.
You don't like Jaden?
What, Jaden Daniels?
That's crazy.
He's a great quarterback, but I'm saying before the season started, I said Quinn was the best quarterback in college football. He ended up getting hurt, unfortunately, and I still think he's the best quarterback in college football.
Really?
Over Jaden?
Yes.
That's absurd.
I like Quinn very, very, very much. I think he has the most talented arm in college football.
Okay.
Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
Daniels.
I don't want to respond to that.
Okay.
Jaden Daniels.
Keep going with the picks, bro.
Jaden Daniels had a great year. Taking nothing from you, Jaden Daniels. Congratulations on winning the Heisman, bro. Like Jaden Daniels, he can do a lot of things that not everybody can do, especially with your legs and your arm. But I take Quinn, so I'm gonna trust Quinn over.
Right.
Jaden Daniels is a high.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
I mean, Quinn Ewers,
Yeah.
he's a good player. This year, I haven't seen it as much. I mean, he had a good game against Alabama. He looked rattled to me against Oklahoma. He came back, played solid. I don't even think he's the best quarterback in this game.
No.
I think Michael Penix is a better player than him. I think he has an absolute cannon attached to his shoulder.
Yeah.
And they have a 3-headed monster at receiver led by Odunze, and I think Washington gets it done. I'm tired of doubting Washington. I didn't think they were going to beat Oregon both games. I thought they were going to go to Oregon State and lose. Michael Penix has showed up in every moment. He had a great argument for Heisman, too, in my opinion.
He did.
He went undefeated. He played great all season. Their defense, they have an edge rusher who's going to pick the top of the first round. I wouldn't sleep on their defense. They've showed they can be physical with anybody. Texas is a physical team. Oregon's a physical team. They beat Oregon twice and matched their physicality.
Definitely.
I think Michael Penix and the boys get it done.
We got Texas, we got Washington. What we got on the right side?
I don't know. I can see both ways, and I think it's just gonna come down to if Texas isn't turning over the rock, and if Washington can continue to play the way that they've been playing. Like Texas, I feel like might have had a little bit of a turnover issue at some points in time, and they have like a higher turnover ratio and things like that. But they're also been more disciplined as a whole team, and it's just, I think it's going to be a toss-up, but I give it to Texas just because I've seen, like sometimes when you just see teams and it's like, they scare you because it's like, they have big play possibility. Like Xavier Worthy, like if he's healthy, big play possibility guy. They got a sellout running back, but not to say like same thing. Like they were pretty evenly matched as far as top receivers, top running backs, and things like that. Like this might be one of the most evenly matched games we've seen. But I think that if Texas can chill on the turnovers and play consistently, I think they had a chance to win the game. But I wouldn't say by a landslide.
It's gonna be a close game.
Yeah, I think
it's gonna be a close
either
game.
way. But I'm gonna give Washington their props and Penix. Like they've been playing real good football this year. So
Yeah, for me, I think this is going to be the most interesting game, like of the whole bowl season. Personally, I think these are two insane teams, but I gotta go with Michael Penix in Washington. I feel like he just does what he needs to do. But then also people sleep on Dylan Johnson, that running back, bro. He's like that. So I feel like he'll be the X factor in the game. I mean, obviously Odunze and the wide receiver core, they're gonna get their thing done. But I feel like Dylan Johnson is like a sleeper on who breaks it open for Washington. And I feel like the winner, either or, if Texas wins, I feel like the winner of this game goes on to win the national championship.
Okay.
That might be a little hot take, but I don't know. I just those specific two teams, man.
I
They're
don't hear
just
nothing about a hot take from you.
I don't know. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but
Definitely.
that's what I'm feeling right
It's a
now.
possibility.
It's a possibility.
I ain't mad at it. It's a possibility.
As much as I like Michael Penix, he had that little freestyle on the sideline as they came back and beat Oregon and everything. I gotta go with Texas in this game. I mean,
What?
I don't see, because I already picked Michigan on the other side. I don't see the SEC having two teams in there and both of them not.
So is it more about you not believing that Washington's going to win, or is it more so you don't want to see two SEC teams in the national championship?
No, I think Texas is going to get in. I don't think Michigan can beat Alabama. I think they can, but I don't think they will. And I think Texas is going to get in. Nothing to do with like the SEC, but
Wait, say that again?
having two teams in.
You don't think Michigan can beat Alabama?
I don't think Alabama's going to beat Michigan.
Oh, okay.
And then Texas, I think they're going to beat Washington. Wait, what?
Okay.
Good enough. So, like I was saying, the SEC, they got two teams in. One of those two teams are getting in. My bet is going to be on Texas this year, so
Man, I
got Texas on that side.
I can't wait to see two SEC teams in the national championship again. That'll be very interesting.
We'll see what happens. But hey, episode 8 is done here today.
I got something for you, my boy.
Man.
I wasn't giving it to him on Christmas or when I saw him this weekend, but I mean, like I said, he surprised me last week, so I got a little something for him. Nothing too crazy.
Some red with the jump man, the Jordan.
Yeah, great.
That's
You know him,
tough.
man. He always talking about some Jordan. Boy, he loves
The GOAT,
Jordan.
The GOAT, man.
That's the GOAT.
That's tough.
Appreciate that, bro.
That's tough. That's tough.
Well, that's all we got for episode 8. Appreciate JC, Afoso, and Wayne joining us today. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, tuning in to the Instagram, TikTok, Twitter pages. We're active on there. Jose's been active on the Twitter page.
I've been trying to be on Twitter, live tweeting the games, just talking my shit if I can. But I mean, yeah. Not sure. Make sure you follow us on all that at the One Free Game. We'll catch y'all next week.
Yeah, next week.
For the new year.
Yeah, New Year's coming up.
Yes, sir.
Until then, enjoy the time.